everyone, Captain Haddock here with Rhyme Signatures, the nerdiest music review this side of being more beard than man, and having quite the week despite it only being Wednesday. And today we're going to be doing a review of the new Omnerod album, The Amensal Rise. Now, I used to think I knew all there was worth knowing about Belgium. Tintin, René Magritte, the Atomium and the Mannequin Piece, the best fries in the world, waffles, great beer. The list honestly goes on. I spent my formative years living there after all, so I kind of figured I knew all the best Belgian things. However, it turns out that Belgium didn't stop after I left the country, and, they kept on doing things that only Belgians can do. And apparently that included the creation of one of the most under-the-radar progressive death metal bands that I've ever had the pleasure of discovering. Omnerod are the great hope of Belgian progressive metal. I mean, off the top of my head, I can't really think of a single other prog metal band from the mean streets of Bruges, Antwerp, Zaventem, or anywhere else from my favourite multilingual seat of the European Commission. But be that as it may, these guys are a true undiscovered gem, and a band I am very excited to be shining a spotlight on you right now. This delightful foursome consists of Anthony Denayer and Romain Genot, apologies if I butchered the pronunciation there, on twin vocal duties, with Romain also handling guitars, Pablo Schwilden-Diaz on drums, percussion and keyboards, and André Cis on bass. The Amensal Rise, while being my first experience with the band, is their third album, following up from 2019's Arteries and 2014 debut Ivory Dune. So, what kind of music is this? Honestly, I'm often loath to use other bands as a benchmark of judging a young band's output, but it's oftentimes the best and most immediate metric to allow a potential new listener to understand in an instant if this is likely to be something that they would enjoy or not. So, to that end, I'm going to give you a quick sort of 1-2 comparison. This record sounds as if Between the Buried and Me borrowed Devin Townsend notes for deconstruction and made their own thing out of it. I mean, this is, of course, only scratching the surface of what the Amensal Rise actually sounds like. But, like I say, this was only really to give you an inkling as to if you're likely to enjoy this. And if that comparison sounds good to you, I've got some more hype to pour onto the burning pyre. The sum of this record is so much more than any hastily drawn parallels to other bands could ever amount to. This is a record that demonstrates a band realising the potential at its fullest, and is likely to be regarded as their Blackwater Park, their Images and Words, their Rumours, their Close to the Edge. You get the idea. It's not often I get treated to such a fully realised and immediately engaging and accomplished work from a band who are currently flying well under the radar of the underground hype wagon in the prog community. I've seen a distressingly small amount of word of mouth about these guys, which is another reason why I've seen fit to review this record. This cannot be ignored. This has to garner more attention, as the sheer effort and ambition that has been poured into this record is almost incomparable, and I frankly refuse to let the Amensal Rise sit on the wayside and be overlooked. The record comes in at 7 tracks long and 70 minutes of music, which, guess what maths fans, means we have an average length of about 10 minutes per track. Although in reality we run the gamut of around 6 minutes to about 12.5, but with the possible exception of the scene-setting opening track Sunday Heat, this means that every single song on this album has huge, sweeping suites, massive distinct sections and movements throughout each of them, and everything flows into this one gigantic unstoppable force of dazzling technicality and show-stopping musicianship, with some of the grooviest melodies, sky-piercing vocal deliveries, and near panic-inducing intensity that I've felt from a progressive death metal album in quite some time. Make no mistake here, while Omnerod prizes technical showmanship highly within their arsenal, it is not the only thing that defines their sound, and it certainly is not any kind of one-note playbook that will leave you bored before your 70-minute long serving is finished. There are plenty of moments amidst the violent assault of screeching guitars, gnashing vocals and machine gun drumming that the band allows their jazzier, softer side to shine through, evoking the kind of boundless adventurism that we've come to know and love on records like Haken's Aquarius or Between the Buried and Me's The Great Misdirect. In fact, if anything, if I was to fall back onto the old chestnut of comparing this to another band's work, it's kind of like the entire record is singing from the same hymn sheet as Swim to the Moon. And I mean the entire record. And as much as I enjoy the overall impact of this record and how well it works as a single coherent unit, what truly shines and keeps me coming back is the singular, more isolated and individual moments. There is so much attention to detail and small-scale musical expressions that feel a lot grander and more impactful than their brevity would suggest. It makes for a rewarding listening experience that gives as much back as you put into it. I mean, to pick a single moment out of the dozens, I don't know, take the transition from the opening track of Sunday Heat into subsequent track Satellites. It is so intense and the build-up and payoff is absolutely fantastic. It's the kind of high-octane energy blast you might expect from a strapping young lad, but with the band's own personality stamped all over it. And as much as it's easy to assign comparisons to existing sounds and bands to this record, what I appreciate about Omnerod as a band is their ability to take their influences, wear them on their sleeves, but never make it feel overt or overpowering to their own identity, their own mission with the music. Vocally, the band soars, with the twin punch of Anthony and Romain being one of the most impressive and sonically adventurous deliveries in modern progressive metal right now, cruising the lines between themselves effortlessly from Devin Townsend-esque cleans and Mikhail Ackerfeld-style growls. And with the two of them trading off against each other, it makes for a listening experience that at times will just overall make you forget how to breathe with just how powerful the overall effect is. I honestly love how effectively the band managed the unique opportunities afforded to them by their twin vocalists, and it crosses into similar territory of the likes of Nia Bliviscaris and post-Alvestam Scar Symmetry, with each vocalist handling their own individual delivery and style, but playing off against each other perfectly, with neither one upstaging or unbalancing the effect of the other. It's difficult to pick a favourite, and honestly it kind of feels wrong to do so anyway, as both Anthony and Romain are as individually important to the sound of the Amensal Rise as each other. Special mention, I feel, must also go to just how effective and efficient the flow of the album is. There's never a single moment I can think of where I was bored or overwhelmed by the music. For every back-breaking, neck-snapping solo or riff, there's just as much in the way of gentle, jazzy atmospherics and musical patience. Spore is a perfect example of the band demonstrating just how restrained they can be after the masterclass in technical showmanship that is Satellites. There's also plenty of room in the album for fun, for daft and off-kilter stuff too. I mean, if you enjoyed the surf rock breakdown in Bloom from Parallax 2, the ragtime solo from The Dance of Eternity, or the country and western hoedown in Ants of the Sky, then the Amensal Rise has a similar treat in store for you. I won't spoil when and where, but you'll know it when it happens. It's absolutely wonderful, and one of my favourite, hang on a minute, moments of 2023 so far. I suppose the only real drawback to the record is just how dense it is. This is not a record that will reward casual listening. There's a kind of tangled chaos to the entire musical playbook here. Nothing is straightforward or simplistic, and while this is absolutely to the album's benefit taken in the long term, it can make the Amensal Rise a difficult album to penetrate during the initial listens. I would implore you, though, that you stick with this one, as while it might take a little while for the subtleties and inner complexities to unravel, the sheer ambition, scope and scale of what Omnerod have crafted is amongst some of the best in the business right now. While it's not likely to win any awards for show-stopping originality, much like Parius's incredible album The Signal Heard Throughout Space from last year, the Amensal Rise still manages to create enough intrigue and expression through the band's original ideas amongst their influences for this to be more than worth your time and attention over the coming months. And this is certain to ride high in my year-end list. So, what else can I say about Omnerod's The Amensal Rise? Now, I'm always on the lookout for something new, for bands that are getting less attention and can benefit from a spotlight being shone onto them. And although I might be still a small fish in a big pond myself, it makes me have an affinity towards bands who are likewise fighting for the attention of a market that's feeling more and more saturated with every passing week. Now, I will never have enough time or energy to listen to everything within my musical wheelhouse that's being released, but if I can direct even just one more person to check out this phenomenally talented young band, then I would consider that to be a mission completed, on my part. This, guys, is a really easy recommendation to pick this one up in physical format. I sincerely hope that the Amensal Rise garners enough attention from the progressive metal underground to get a vinyl pressing someday, but until such a time, it'll have to be on CD, guys. Don't sleep on this one. Whatever you do, I'm confident that when word starts getting out about this album, there's going to be a big upswing in their popularity. And who doesn't want to be able to say, I loved them before they got big? Merci beaucoup les gars, vous devriez être très fiers de ce que vous avez fait. This is all, of course, my opinion, as you know, guys, so please tell me what you thought of this record in the comments down below if you have given it a listen. If there's anything else coming out this year that you think I should check out, please do let me know about it, point it in my direction, might get around to giving it a review as well. If you did like this video, as always, please do share it around with anyone else who you think would enjoy it, and please do consider subscribing to the channel for more content in the future. If you really like what I do as well, please also consider clicking my Ko-fi link in the description box down below to help support the channel. And until next time, guys, as always, keep your rhyme signatures odd.